Welcome, everybody, to another Make Peace with Life podcast, or maybe in this case, I should say, Make Pizza with Life podcast. Today, we got some fabulous topics for you to discuss. I do want to hit you off with make sure you're subscribing to the podcast. For every 100 subscribers, we're going to give away one of these Make Peace with Life shirts. So if your name's in there and you're a subscriber, you might get contacted because as soon as you subscribe, you're entered, and your entry will keep going for every 100 subscribers we get. We will give away another shirt, so you don't get taken out of that point unless you've already won one. Now, we don't want to give you another one in that case. So let's get into today's topics of Make Peace with Life, and we're talking about pizza. I know this sounds strange, but as I was sitting here and I was thinking, I was eating a pizza the other night, and I was thinking how pizza is like a metaphor for life and a metaphysical teacher all in itself. So now hear me out. This is going to get a little crazy, but it is. So first of all, pizza is round. So there is no beginning, there's no end to a pizza necessarily. And a lot of that can be said for a lot of round foods, but there are no ends, there are no corners on a pizza. There's a crust, but it's all consuming of the pizza. But the circle itself represents wholeness. It represents infinity. It represents the universe as a whole in that sense. So first of all, just the basic shape of a pizza. Now we're talking round pizza. We're not talking about the square pizzas. I know everybody's going to start saying, "Oh, well, there's square pizzas out there. There's the Detroit style," but we're talking about your basic round pizza. So, but that represents, and then we slice it. And to me, that represents all the different lives that are out there. Now, I know we only get so many slices out of a pizza, but if you metaphorically have this pizza that encompasses the whole universe, each slice is a different life, a different path, a different journey that somebody is taking. So that's, because no matter how we slice a pizza, we get different things on it. We'll get into toppings and everything later. But even if you have just one topping on your pizza, each slice has a different makeup. It's a different process whether it's pepperoni. So let's just use pepperoni. If it's a pepperoni pizza, the pepperonis are not going to be spaced evenly. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be that. But the funny part about a pizza is after you cut it, the starting point of where you eat at is the exact middle of the pizza. Isn't that strange to think about? How often do we start in the middle of anything? So that's an interesting point. Even other brown foods, we usually start so if you think of a hamburger bun and a hamburger, we don't start in the middle of the hamburger. But with pizza, there's a point in the middle to where all the cuts intersect. And that's a very interesting point, that we start in the middle and eat out in that sense. So that's a fascinating topic all in itself. So that leads me to believe pizzas are not linear like time itself. So I'm a firm believer that time is not linear, so it's not like it's all happening. I think that's why we have deja vu and other things that go on. But I think pizza is a great way, because I often think of life as that, as crossing each other, about like how you slice a pizza. Our lives intersect, the different lives we're living, the different time frames that we're living intersect, and that intersection is when we get those deja vu moments, or those weird feelings, is when the lives that we're experiencing intersect. So that's my take on that. But the crust. Now, the crust is like the support. So you can't very well have a pizza without the support of the crust. So it sets the boundaries around the edge to where the sauce goes up to and stops, and where the cheese goes up to and stops. But the crust is uber important in a pizza because it holds everything together. it sets the boundaries, I should say, for the pizza. So it's not just spilling off the table or running all over the pan. It sets an end point for the toppings and for, I guess you could say it's the end point for life in that sense. If you figure each slice of pizza is a slice of life, then that's an ending point for each one of those lives. But then let's go into the cheese. Cheese to me is like love. Now, I like more sauce on my pizza than cheese necessarily. I know there's people out there like extra cheese, but the cheese is like love. It holds everything together. So no matter what toppings you put on, no matter what sauce, how much sauce you put in, it all melts together with the cheese. So the cheese is holding on to the pepperoni, the sausage, the, dare I say, pineapple. All those things that you put on a pizza, the anchovies, all of it, it's held together by the cheese. When the cheese melts, it holds it together. A lot like love does in our life, in our world. Love holds things together in amazing ways, and it's a wonderful bonding agent. So cheese is the same way on a pizza. And then the sauces are emotions. So everybody has different emotions. Some people like a lot of sauce like me. Some people like very little sauce. Some people like white sauce. Some people like pesto sauce on their pizza. It's the emotions that we bring into life is what the sauce represents in this pizza metaphor of life that we're talking about today. But then all the toppings are individual, that are what make us individuals in our lives. So no matter what toppings you like, maybe you just like pepperoni, so you like your life's a little more plain. Not saying that people that like pepperoni, their life is plain, but in that sense, that life is very plain and very simple. People that like the supreme, they want everything on their pizza. They want the kitchen sink on their pizza. They're living this more complex sort of life. So as we're going into this metaphor of pizza, it's really fascinating me of how many metaphors there are with pizza in there. So, but now let's get into the this. So as we're talking about what makes a pizza, we've talked about several ingredients, but there are things that make us think too. So no matter what toppings you put on a pizza, it's still a pizza. So you can still call it a pizza. And I think that's a very interesting point, as everybody likes pizza, but not everybody likes the same things on their pizza. So that's a lot like life in general. And if we could all learn to get along and just say, you know, this is life, then we wouldn't have altercations and anger and wars in that sense. I hate to say that pizza could solve the world war problems, but if we could learn to say, we all like pizza, we just don't all like the same kind of pizza. And then we can get even deeper into that philosophical question of pizza, and with the pineapple debate. Some people are adamant pineapple does not belong on a pizza. Some people like pineapple on a pizza. So that's one of those more the deeper subject matters is in this Make Pizza with Life talk that we're having today. But that's very fun because some people are just adamant. As soon as you put pineapple on a pizza, it's not a pizza. I don't mind pineapple on my pizza, but it's not like I crave pineapple on my pizza. I don't usually order pineapple on pizza. If that's on there, I won't hesitate from eating it, but I'm not a big pineapple on my pizza. So, but with the pizza process here, every slice is important. Have you ever got a pizza with a slice out of it? If you do, something's wrong. You're immediately looking at the driver or the delivery driver or the person who brought the pizza and go, what the heck did you do to my pizza? It's not a pizza now. It's a Pac-Man. It's not full. It's not complete. So that makes us, as we're looking at it as a grand scheme of life, and this pizza metaphor that I'm making today. So if a piece is missing, something's gone. So that, that goes back to my saying that everybody's important. Everybody has a purpose in this life. If you're having struggles with that, think of this pizza metaphor that if your slice is missing, we're going to blame the delivery driver. We're going to blame our friend who brought it. We're going to blame our spouse. Somebody's going to get blamed for taking that piece out. So don't let that be you in the grand scheme of life, of leaving out that slice that is so important, that is your life in general. So, but pizza is diversity. Pizza is unlimited toppings, getting along together, enjoying life, and being there when they are needed. When that call comes in for the pizza, that universal pizza is created. So the toppings are put on. It doesn't matter what the toppings are that they've ordered, as long as they're in the shop and they have that, it's going to get put on that pizza. Nobody questions it. Nobody says, ooh, gross, I'm not going to put that on their pizza. So I think we can learn a lot from the diversity of a pizza and how it can really shape the world that we live in. As we think of the world, or our metaphysical life, our universe as a cosmic pizza, and how every slice is important, every topping is a timeline, every every sauce is adding something, adding a spice to that life, every cheese is holding it all together. It's a wonderful metaphor to think about. Plus, it's making me really hungry right now. So I might have to get a pizza again tonight. So think about life as a pizza. I'd love to hear your comments on that. I'd even love to hear what you like on your pizza. Give me a comment on the pineapple philosophy there. If you like pineapple, if you don't like pineapple, if you think it should be discarded, it should be taken out of the pizza conversation altogether. Want to hear your comments. So go over to Make Peace with Life. Our email address is on there, makepeacewithlife.com. That is, our email's on there. Send us an email about this topic and how you might add to this. I'd love to hear other people's feelings on how pizza is like the cosmic life that we're living right now. Now, my next topic is inanimate objects. And are they really inanimate? First thing is, we talk to inanimate objects. So right now I'm talking to the computer. I'm actually recording this to talk to everybody out there. But right now I'm talking to my computer, and I do that a lot. When I'm like looking for something on my computer, I'll be saying things like, "Oh, where is that? Do you know where that is? Where can I find that?" Don't expect my computer to answer, although getting into more AI and voice recognition and speech on our computers, that might actually be happening sometimes. I mean, we're seeing it nowadays. My Alexa device will talk to me. I'll ask it a question and it'll tell me, is my order coming today? Is things like that. So it'll start my music for me. It'll do all kinds of things. So that's an inanimate object that has now become taking on a personality. It's a living I can't say it's breathing, but it's a living thing in myself, because I talk to it and it answers me. So that's interesting. That's not a topic I thought about before I started doing this podcast, but that's one that's very important. So the definition of inanimate object is something that's not alive, and that is accurate. An inanimate object is something that doesn't live, that doesn't breathe. But are we emphasizing the living part on the way we live? And I think this is one of the big debates for me as we start talking about alien life forms and things like that. I think there's a lot of alien life forms out there that we would have no real recognition that they would be life forms in that sense, because they're not exactly like us. And we as humans are kind of conceited in that manner, that we think we're the ultimate life form, and that everything should emulate us. But there are things out there that have life. And as I'm talking about the AI and the communication now with things, I talk to my car. I'm driving my car and I'm talking to my car. I don't even have to type anything in. I just push a button, I say something, and it tells me, which way to go. It'll give me directions. Sometimes it'll say, I can't answer that right now while you're driving. Those type of things, but it's responding to me, and we're getting more and more used to talking to inanimate objects. And they're having personalities. So we give our inanimate objects personality, and now we can actually do it physically. So, you'll talk to your computer, like I was saying, come on, baby, we just need to get this last little presentation out, get this last class done, things like that. But now they can answer back, and you can give them personalities. So you can give them an accent, you can have them speak in a different language, which is fascinating because our technology now is realizing that we treat our inanimate objects like they're alive. And we're starting to feel that presence going back and forth between us. And that's very fascinating. But let's go back in time. So there's a lot of things that carry energy that have a life of their own. I'm thinking, when I started this, I started thinking about heirlooms. You have things that you've been passed down from your grandparents or your parents. Like a pocket watch or a quilt that your grandma made that have sentimental value to you, and they hold an energy all in themselves. So that's powerful. I have my old baseball glove from when I was a kid, and when I put that on, something magical happens. I'm transported back to that time of putting that glove on and feeling the energy and the excitement of me going to play in a baseball game, and being part of a team and catching that ball, or just the sounds of the ballpark, going to practices, being in the heat, things like that it brings back. One of the big ones that I want to talk about here is stuffed animals. A lot of people, when they were kids, had stuffed animals, and these animals were alive to them. They named them. They carried them with them. They had to sleep with them. When they felt sad, they needed those. And although they were inanimate objects, to those young children, they were not inanimate objects. They were their best friend. They were their comfort. They were their support. So are our inanimate objects really inanimate? That's very interesting, because I believe, and my feeling is, that they carry a lot of energy within them. They are loaded up with energy that we connect with. And so in that sense, I don't think they're inanimate at all. So let's talk about some of our favorite items. How many of you have a favorite sweatshirt? An old sweatshirt. This one's not old. This is a new sweatshirt. But how many of you have an old sweatshirt that you just can't get rid of? No matter how many holes, it's just the comfort of having that old sweatshirt. Eventually, obviously, sometimes we get rid of them, but it's a struggle. I had some old sweatshirts that I just absolutely love. Used to have one that had a hole right here on the sleeve where I could put my thumb through it. I love that sweatshirt. I love that sweatshirt so much, and I kept it way longer than I needed to. Wasn't like I didn't have the money to buy a new sweatshirt or anything, but I love that sweatshirt. People have a favorite coffee mug. You go to an office building or even your house, and people have they want to use that same mug. I do it with beer glasses. I did a podcast on beer glasses one time, and I like to pick I have a set of 24 pint glasses in my cabinet, but I always like to pick the ones that are from places that I went and that I enjoyed, over the ones that are just generic or clear, or have just a beer logo on it that I bought that didn't have any meaning to it. So the ones that have meaning that I got at a brewery when I was out on vacation or on a trip mean so much more to me. So I have the favorites of those, and we have favorite shoes. We have a favorite blanket that we like to use. All those things carry energy, and although they're inanimate in the definition of being alive, they're not really inanimate to us, because we desire them. We want them. We want to have them with us. They need to go on trips with us. They need to, all those kind of things are powerful in these inanimate objects, which again makes me feel like they're not actually inanimate. We put that on them, and we need to stop doing that, because they are animate objects. Other things, wedding rings, jewelry, things that are passed down, an old watch that your grandfather gave you or grandmother gave you. Those type of things, they all hold energy. They mean something. So there's inanimate objects that mean something to you. Maybe it's your college diploma that's hanging on the wall, or maybe it's a news article that where you accomplished some major feat in the newspaper that you're holding on to. Can be just, some people have like old childhood toys that they keep in their living room, old wagons that they just use as decoration now, but they keep them around. They're not getting rid of them because they're holding their energy. They're holding some space in their being. So let's look at a scenario, and to help prove my point, or to show my point on this inanimate object discussion that we're having. Let's go to the store, and there's two teddy bears sitting on the shelf. Exactly the same teddy bear, made on the same day, from the same company. They look exactly the same, okay? One of those teddy bears is purchased and given to a young child. The other one sits on the shelf, never gets sold. It's thrown in a back room somewhere. So there's the opening scenario. Now, this teddy bear that got purchased is a childhood friend. It's been through storms where it comforted a child. It's been through sickness when the child was sick and it wanted the teddy bear to hold on to. It's been through moves of houses. It's been through scary moments where the child was scared and held on to that teddy bear a little tighter. It's been through the wash. It's been, because it got dirty or things like that. All of these things that teddy bear's experienced. And then there's that one that's still in the back room, never got purchased, has never had any human interaction. It's in a tub somewhere in the back of the store of things that never got sold, maybe even in the trash, unfortunately, in that aspect. What do you think the energy difference is between those two teddy bears? This one that's felt love and passion and been a protector, been a friend to the child, or this one sitting in the back room? I'm going to say this one that was purchased and been there for that child is going to have a lot more energy than this one. So not saying that, and there's no difference between the two of them. They were made the same, but we gave them that energy. We gave them life. We gave them the ability to be our friend. We gave them a name. We gave them the power to actually break free from the inanimate section to maybe not so inanimate. Maybe they have a soul. Maybe they have a desire. Maybe they take pride in the fact that what they're doing for those children. Something to think about as you're going out there. Most of the inanimate objects that we interact with and that we have a good repertoire with, we give names. My father used to always give his cars, his trucks, everything a name. We had an old truck that was Chug-a-Boom, and just always he gave it a name, and he made it not so inanimate. I know he used to do a lot of snow plowing in his truck, and he spent a lot of time in that truck, and he talked to it like it was a person and things. Come on, we got to do this one more lot, things like that. And we do that. I had an old baseball bat that I named the Killer. I wasn't a big hitter or anything, but my baseball bat name was the Killer, and that's what I would call it. I say, I'd be walking up the mountain. Now, I would say it so nobody hear me think that I'm crazy, or they might think I'm a killer myself. But I'd be like, "Come on, Killer, we can do this. We can hit that ball. We can drive in that run. We can help our team to win this game." Those type of things. So as you're thinking about this inanimate objects versus non-inanimate objects, I want you to think about this question. So, and I don't want to put any bad juju on anybody, but if you had to run into your house, say it was on fire or something, again, I don't want to put the bad juju on anybody. So let's just say you had to run in your house, grab the thing that was most important to you. What would you grab? Would it be a photo album? Would it be that lucky shirt? Would it be your stuffed animal? Would it be a picture of your grandmother on the wall? Would it be the quilt that she made you? Would it be the pocket watch? What are those things that you can't replace because of the energy? They're not inanimate objects. I'm telling you right now, they have a soul, they have an energy, they have a connection to you. And part of the reason they're not inanimate is because of you, the other people that touch them, and the energy that was brought into them in this world. So something to think about as we go on. Man, this show's taken on a life of its own. I love this. But the last segment I have is on our truth. Why is our truth not everybody's truth? And you think truth is absolute fact, and it's not. I'm here to tell you right now, our truth are not actual facts. It's how we perceive things and how we remember them that sets them apart from other people's truth. Have you ever heard two people that talk about something that happened, a memory, an event they went to, and they probably see it totally different, and they'll talk about it and you won't get the same thing. Let's say, here's a great example. I'm a big chicken. So if I go to one of those haunted houses where people are jumping out scaring you, I'm going to be scared. I have some friends that, it's no big deal to them. Oh yeah, oh boy, that was scary. I perceive that as fearful, and I think about that. As I remember it, I think about, oh my God, it raised my heart rate. It made me anxious. It made me, want to get out of there. I didn't want to go for the start place, things like that. But my friends who aren't scared at all, or they're laughing at the people that are jumping out and scaring everybody and all that, they have a different truth to that. That was fun. That was silly. That was goofy. Where I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to pee my pants or something to that nature. They're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Oh, it could have been scarier. Oh yeah, I can't believe you were scared over that. But my truth was I was scared. Their truth was they were not. And so that's why I don't go to many haunted houses during the holiday seasons. I like the ghosty type of haunted houses, old houses that are supposedly haunted, but I don't like where people are jumping out, scaring me and grabbing me and things like that. But our memories are what make us have our truth. And we can't change the truth of somebody else. We cannot change the way they witness something in their life, as they're going through their life, as they're creating their memories. What we witness is we can't force upon them. So it makes me not angry, but a little bit perturbed when somebody tells them of what they experience. And again, I'll go to the ghosts, cryptids, all that stuff that some people believe in, some people don't. Even religion, some people believe in it, some people don't. And they don't have that truth, if they don't have the truth of that religion, or they don't have the truth of seeing a ghost, they automatically make the other person feel like they're wrong, or that there's some explanation. You didn't witness that. You didn't see that. You didn't need that divine spirit coming into your life. And that's wrong, because we cannot be in somebody else's body. We cannot be in their mind. We cannot be in their soul and see what they felt. So I'm one of those people that when I listen to people that talk about their truth, I always make sure I realize this is their truth and this is what they experienced. This is exactly how they saw it play out and how they saw it happen. And then I always think, maybe I'm on a different plane of existence, maybe on a different level than them, not a higher or a lower level, just on a different level to where I can't see that ghost, or I don't feel that religion is right, or I didn't see Bigfoot. All I saw was a bunch of shrubs out there. Those type of things that I never discount somebody's truth when they're talking about it. So make sure not to belittle somebody because of their truth. And here's a great example. So our eyes see things different. We all have lenses. We all see things differently. But let's take our eyesight out of it. And now here's the old story. I don't know if you guys have heard this one about three blind people. there's an elephant standing in front of them, and they are asked to speak to what they experience in front of them. The first blind person touches the trunk, and he says, "Oh, this is a snake. This is a snake. We need to stay back. It could bite us. I don't know if it's poisonous. Whatever. This is a snake. We need to stay back." The second person that has vision impairment, let's say it that way instead of blind, vision impairment touches the leg of the elephant and goes, "Oh, no, this is a tree. This is a tree. Feel it. This is, it's a pretty good sized tree. So this is a tree." And then the third person comes up, visually impaired person comes up and puts their hands on the side of the elephant and goes, "This is a wall. I mean, God, you can't even move this thing. It's so solid. This is a wall." So all those truths were true to them. That's what they experienced. That's what they saw. None of them were wrong in that sense. Yes, it was an elephant in the end game, but they didn't feel the whole thing. But what they felt, what they experienced was their truth in that sense. So again, and it's that almost like that game of telephone where you tell somebody something and they don't remember it fully, or they take their own take on it, or they hear this word instead of that word. And by the end of the telephone game, the story is completely skewed, but that's the way they heard it. And that's the way it was passed along to them in that sense. And that's what our memory and our mind can fill in gaps and put things into place that weren't supposed to be there. So, but we need to get out of that concept that our truth is the ultimate truth, because it's not always the case. Sometimes it is the case for us anyhow, but I caution you to stop discounting other people's truth in that. We can have multiple truths. And that's one of the things that we as humans need to do, because we always have this feeling we need to be right, that my story needs to be right, I need to be right. But two people can be right and say different things. It's not always just one correct answer. And we don't have to agree on that. We can accept the other person's truth. So we're not trying to sway somebody else's opinion. If they saw something we didn't see it, we're like, "Yeah, I don't think you saw what you saw. You need to change your mind." We don't need to do that. It's okay to have a different truth than somebody else. We need to get away from that "I'm right, you're wrong" kind of mentality that as humans we so often want to inflict on other people. It's like, I'm right, you're wrong. We take some pride in that. That's a little silly. So, and you can go back even within this. The truth, we'll go back to our original topic, the topic of pizza. Pizza, pineapple on pizza. Yes, no. People like it, people don't. People say it shouldn't be on there. People say, "Oh yeah, it's got to be on there." But that's their truth. If they like pineapple on their pizza, that's their truth. If they don't like pineapple on their pizza, that's their truth. And we should be okay with that. And it's perfectly fine. Another one is a hot dog a sandwich? It's not quite the same as a turkey sandwich, but is it a sandwich, or is it a hot dog something different from a sandwich? Or even the way the toilet paper is on the roll. Is it the beard or the mullet? Which way do you want your toilet paper hanging down on your thing? And basically these are all just personal choices a lot of times. One of the big ones that is on the internet right now is the GOAT debate in basketball. Is it LeBron James? Is it Michael Jordan? There's others that should be considered. I believe Wilt Chamberlain was one of those that should have been considered. Oscar Robertson, amazing career. Those people should be in that mix too, but let's just say Michael Jordan or LeBron James. And a lot depends on who you grew up watching. I grew up more watching Michael Jordan. Younger kids didn't see Michael play a whole lot, so all they have is like video clips and things like that. They didn't see his tenacity on the court and things like that. So all they have to go on is what they see with LeBron James, and obviously those two players are both great players. Both could be considered greatest of all times based on what they achieved and what they did during their playing times. So a lot of it boils down to personal opinion and your memories of that person playing basketball. So let's not get too into the bickering about who's the best or who's right or who's wrong. The chicken or the egg is the last one I want to bring up. That's been a long-standing story. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Who really cares? Uh, I like chicken. I like eggs. I like them both. I don't know if we'll ever really know the answer to those questions because they're all so personal in that thing. So let's just start being accepting of other people's truths and not trying to discard them. Maybe be a little more curious about other people's truths, like why do you feel that way? Or what experience have you had that may lead you to think that way? Ask the questions instead of just discounting it and going, no, you're wrong. I know, again, I believe in alien life forms that are out there somewhere. I believe in ghost in a way. That's an energy. And I've had people that tell me, no, there's no such thing. There can't be. No way. And I just, instead of me getting angry with them, I just like, well, that's your truth. That's the way you feel. I'm okay with it, but they're the ones that are not okay with it. So I just have to live with that and, accept their truth, even though they don't accept mine. And I'm okay with that too. That's their truth. This is my truth. So it's okay. All right, folks, that is the show today. Man, these shows are getting longer and longer and longer because I love these topics. I was so excited about presenting this show today. But last thing we need to do is our energy pool. For those of you that are here the first time, each and every podcast we try to do an energy pool at the end. And what that is we sit here collectively and we imagine a big pool of water, but instead of water, we're putting energy into that. We're putting positive energy into that because we're all positive beings out there listening to this podcast. So we're going to take a moment and just be quiet and fill up that energy pool. And the best part is those of you out there that might be struggling a little bit, might need a little help, dip into that energy pool and take some of our energy because it is a renewable resource and we're going to send it back in there, fill it up. And when you can and when you feel in a better space, a better place, then you can put it back in there and pay it forward to somebody else that's going through. So we're just going to sit here for a few seconds, fill that energy pool. You can almost hear it filling. Those of you out there that need the help, dip into that energy pool. Get that energy. We love you. We want you to be happy. We want to help you through anything that you're going through. And there we go. Now, the last thing we do today, well, almost the last thing, is we give a song of the day. And this is based on my own personal opinion, something I listen to on the way that brings back a memory or just a good song that I like to listen to. I like to share it because music is so vitally important in my life. I love it. It's done a lot of things for me. It's always been there whenever, no matter if I'm happy, sad, there's always been a song there to help me do it. And this one's kind of a happy one. This one is kind of, I love this song. I've listened to this for years and years. It actually came out in 1990, so it's an older song. It hit number 11 on the regular Billboard charts, and it actually hit number 1 on the rap charts back then in 1990. But it's by Digital Underground. It's called The Humpty Dance. Just a feel-good song. It gets you moving. First you live to the left like your leg was broken. I could sing more of it, but I don't want to traumatize you guys out there. But it's a great song. Go download it on something or just listen to it on YouTube. It's a great video to it. Digital Underground was one of those bands that was kind of happy-go-lucky band. They had a lot of fun. They were on the cusp opening of the rap kind of movement that came along, and I just love this song, so I encourage you all to go listen to that. Last thing I'll encourage you to do, go get one of these sweatshirts. Go over to makepeacewithlife.com, get one of these sweatshirts, subscribe to the podcast, pick up the book, Make Peace with Life. Always, always, always. This book is amazing. You'll love it. I have some others out there too that you can look into. I have Business Powered by Metaphysics and Get Your Head Out of Your Metaphysical Ass. So there's another couple of books that are out there. I love you guys. I'm glad I'm doing this. I'm going to keep doing this. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe so we can get up to those 100 subscribers so I can give away a shirt. I'm ready to give away a shirt, ready to do it because I'm making peace with life. Yeah.